The mess hall buzzed with energy as soldiers gathered for their midday meal. The aroma of hearty stew filled the air, mixing with the laughter and chatter of friends reuniting after training exercises. Wooden tables were lined with service members, some engaged in animated discussions about the latest drills, while others reminisced about lighter moments from their shared experiences. Bright lights hung from the ceiling, illuminating the large room where camaraderie flourished. It was a place where ranks were put aside, at least for a short time. Tension was always present beneath the surface, especially between different units, but in the mess hall, soldiers sought solace and comfort in good food and friendly faces. As clattering trays and cheerful banter surrounded her, the female soldier sat near a corner table, quietly enjoying her meal. She had been working hard to earn respect from her peers, a journey made tougher by whispers about her rank. Some might have felt defeated by such judgments, but she wore her uniform with pride. To her, every badge represented not just her accomplishments, but also the struggles she had overcome. The laughter increased as jokes flew back and forth across tables. The SEALs were known for their sharp wit, and it only took one comment to shift the mood dramatically. They often pushed boundaries, teasing each other relentlessly. But today, their eyes turned toward her, the new face who had entered their close-knit circle. Suddenly, a loud burst of laughter came from a nearby table as a SEAL called out, "What's that? You actually think you belong here? With your rank?" His mocking tone rang through the hall, bringing a wave of snickers from those around. The mockery caught her off guard for a moment, the laughter pouring out like water from a broken dam. Yet, amidst the chuckles and grins, she felt a spark ignite within her, a flicker of defiance that would not let this moment pass without acknowledgement. She knew she could either let their words drown her or respond in a way that would demand respect. Little did they know that what came next would change the atmosphere in this lively mess hall completely. As laughter echoed around her, the female soldier took a deep breath, steadying herself. Her name was Sergeant Mia Thompson, and she had been serving in the military for several years. Mia was no stranger to hard work and determination. She had climbed the ranks through sheer grit and perseverance. Each promotion came with its own set of challenges, but Mia faced them head on. She had always been passionate about serving her country, but that passion was often met with a lack of understanding from some of her peers. Being a woman in a predominantly male environment sometimes made her feel like she had to work twice as hard to prove herself. Despite the obstacles, she refused to back down. Mia trained just as hard as her fellow soldiers, often running extra laps in the early morning or staying late at the shooting range to hone her skills. Her efforts had not gone unnoticed by many, but there were always lingering doubts from others about whether she truly belonged among them. She often heard whispers behind her back, comments questioning her abilities based solely on her rank rather than her character or competence. But Mia knew that ranks did not define a person's worth or capabilities. It was about what one brought to the table. As she sat in the mess hall, enjoying her stew and watching friends around her joke and laugh, she felt a mixture of pride and frustration swelling within her. She loved this community, the way they supported each other through thick and thin. But sometimes that feeling was overshadowed by moments like this, when someone would belittle her efforts. When the SEAL had mocked her earlier, a familiar sense of indignation rumbled in her chest. Instead of succumbing to insecurity, she chose to let that fire fuel her resolve. Mia understood that standing up for herself wasn't just about defending her rank. It was about asserting her place in this tight-knit world where respect was hard-won. With every ounce of strength within her, Mia prepared to respond. This moment could be a turning point, not only for herself, but also for how others perceived women in service. Today would be different. Today, she would speak with conviction and remind everyone present that courage comes in many forms. The atmosphere in the mess hall shifted as Mia took a moment to center herself. Just as she lifted her spoon to take another bite of stew, the loud voice of a seal cut through the laughter around her. "Hey, Thompson!" he bellowed, drawing attention from several tables nearby. "Do you actually think you belong here? I mean, with your rank, are you even qualified to eat with us?" His words were dripping with sarcasm, and an uneasy silence followed as fellow soldiers paused to see how she would react. Mia's heart raced, but she refused to show any signs of weakness. The chuckles that erupted from some of the seals felt like daggers aimed at her pride. She could see faces in the crowd, some smirking, while others looked shocked by the boldness of his insult. The camaraderie that had filled the room moments before seemed to vanish in an instant, replaced by a palpable tension. The seal continued to poke fun. "What's next? A promotion for showing up? We're not handing out gold stars here." His laughter rang through the hall like a bell, inviting others to join in on the mockery. Mia glanced around, catching the eyes of her friends. Some looked uncomfortable. They knew how hard she had worked and how much this moment stung. Yet there were also those who hesitated to jump to her defense, unsure how their support would be received in such a charged atmosphere. Feeling anger bubbling inside her, Mia squared her shoulders and took a deep breath. This wasn't just about her. It was about proving that anyone could earn respect and recognition through effort and resilience. "Is that really the best you've got?" she finally replied, her voice steady despite the nerves racing through her. A ripple of surprise swept through the mess hall at her unexpected response. The seal's laughter faltered for a moment, confusion flickering across his face as he processed her words. Mia could feel every gaze on her now, the soldiers waiting for what would happen next. Their expressions had shifted from amusement to curiosity, eager to see if she would rise to the occasion or retreat into silence. In that charged moment, everything felt possible. This was no longer just another meal. It was a defining moment where she could stand tall or shrink back. The laughter erupted in the mess hall like a wave crashing against the shore, filling the air with a cacophony of jeers and snickers. Soldiers from various tables turned their heads, some with wide grins, others trying to hide their amusement behind cups and trays. The seal's words had struck a chord, and it seemed like everyone wanted to join in on the fun at Mia's expense. "Did you hear that?" One soldier chuckled, nudging his friend. "Gold stars for just showing up. Classic." The crowd roared with laughter, and for a moment, Mia felt small under the weight of their mockery. The seal basked in the attention, his confidence rising as he relished each chuckle from his comrades. Some of the other soldiers chimed in, echoing his laughter and adding their commentary to the mix. "Maybe we should get her a medal for being here," another joked, eliciting another round of hearty guffaws that danced through the hall. This wasn't just a simple tease. It felt like a full-on assault on Mia's character and dignity. Soldiers who usually displayed camaraderie were now caught up in the thrill of belittling someone who had worked hard to earn her place among them. The camaraderie that once defined this space was now replaced by an uncomfortable tension that wrapped around Mia like a heavy blanket. But amidst the laughter, there were also hesitant glances exchanged among her friends seated nearby. Some wore expressions of discomfort, clearly torn between loyalty to Mia and the desire to fit in with the crowd. They knew how much she had put into proving herself and felt pained by the harshness of their peers' behavior. Still, they remained silent as Mia sat there, feeling both anger and hurt wash over her. As laughter continued to echo around her, Mia could sense an unspoken line dividing those who supported her from those who reveled in slinging insults. It was a stark reminder of how fragile morale could be in such a setting. How quickly unity could dissolve with just one careless comment. In that charged atmosphere filled with mockery, something inside Mia began to shift as she mentally prepared for what she would say next. Defiance bubbled within her. She would not let this moment define her or silence her voice any longer. With every passing second filled with laughter at her expense, she gathered strength for a reply that would turn everyone's attention, and perhaps their opinions, around completely. In that heartbeat of silence following the seal's mockery, Mia felt the weight of every gaze in the room. The laughter had quieted slightly as curiosity and anticipation filled the air. She took a deep breath, her mind racing through countless thoughts, but one phrase began to crystallize in her consciousness, grounding her amidst the chaos of emotions. With newfound resolve, she locked eyes with the seal who had thrown down the gauntlet. He smirked, still riding high on the attention from his peers, but Mia was ready to pull the rug out from under him. She squared her shoulders, feeling an unexpected surge of confidence wash over her. "Maybe you should check your own rank before questioning mine," she said, her voice clear and unwavering. The words hung in the air like a banner unfurling in the wind, shifting the atmosphere from one of mockery to one of astonishment. For a moment, there was complete silence as her reply registered with everyone present. It was as if time stood still and all eyes widened in disbelief. The seal's smirk faltered, replaced by a look of shock as he processed her bold comeback. Around the hall, whispers began to ripple through the crowd, disbelief mingling with newfound respect. Mia felt a rush of adrenaline course through her veins as she continued. "I may not have your experience, but my hard work speaks for itself." Her words were steady and powerful, and she could see some soldiers nodding in agreement. Those who had laughed at her expense now appeared pensive, their expressions shifting from amusement to admiration. The laughter that had once echoed so loudly became a distant memory as murmurs of approval began to replace it. "That's right," called out one soldier from the back, breaking the spell and igniting a wave of supportive cheers. Others joined in, clapping and shouting encouragement for Mia's bravery. In that instant, Mia transformed from a target of mockery into a symbol of courage and resilience. She stood tall with head raised high, knowing that she had not only defended herself, but also challenged perceptions about women in service. The room was no longer filled with jeers. Instead, it buzzed with newfound energy and respect, an electric shift that Mia had ignited with just one line. The moment Mia's words left her lips, an unexpected silence enveloped the mess hall. It was as if someone had pressed a mute button, halting the laughter and chatter in mid-echo. Every soldier froze, their faces shifting from amusement to sheer astonishment. The energy in the room changed drastically. The once vibrant atmosphere morphed into a stillness that felt almost surreal. The seal stood there with his mouth slightly agape, his previous confidence washed away by Mia's bold retort. Gone was the smirk that had danced across his face just moments before. Now he appeared bewildered, grappling with the reality that he had been challenged and outmatched in front of his peers. The sudden silence magnified the awkwardness of his position, and he blinked rapidly, processing what had just happened. Across the tables, soldiers exchanged wide-eyed glances, disbelief etched on their faces. Some were still recovering from the shock of her reply, while others began to realize the significance of what Mia had done. They felt a shift, not just in the tone of the gathering, but also in how they perceived her and each other. The mockery that had once been so easy now felt inappropriate, almost shameful. Mia's heart raced as she scanned the room. She could see a mix of expressions. Some soldiers looked impressed, a few showed signs of regret for their earlier laughter, and others seemed to be re-evaluating their own thoughts about her capabilities. In that breathtaking pause, she understood she had struck a chord that resonated not only with herself, but with those around her. As seconds ticked by in silence, Mia felt an exhilarating rush surge through her veins. This wasn't merely a battle of words, it was about dignity and respect. She stood tall, her posture unwavering as she embraced this pivotal moment. The weight of judgment seemed to lift from her shoulders. She realized she had transformed from a figure of ridicule into one of strength. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, one brave voice broke through the stillness. A soldier at the back called out, "That's right." The floodgates opened as cheers and applause erupted around her. The supportive sounds filled the hall again, washing away the remnants of mockery and replacing them with camaraderie and respect for Mia's bravery. In that moment of unexpected silence, followed by roaring applause, Mia Thompson solidified her place in this community, not just as a soldier, but as someone who would not be silenced or diminished. As the applause simmered down, the atmosphere in the mess hall had shifted profoundly. Soldiers began to process what had just transpired, each one reflecting on Mia's unexpected comeback. Conversations that once revolved around playful banter now centered on admiration and respect for her courage. "I never thought she had it in her," one soldier remarked, shaking his head in disbelief. He had been among the laughter earlier, but now he felt a wave of respect wash over him. It was as if Mia had opened a door that had long been shut, a door inviting acknowledgement of her strength and determination. Another soldier leaned towards his friend, saying, "Did you see how she held her ground? That took guts." The sentiment resonated throughout the hall. Others nodded in agreement, their eyes bright with newfound appreciation for Mia. There was a palpable change in how they viewed each other as well. The camaraderie that previously thrived on mockery began to take on a more supportive tone. Many soldiers reflected on their own experiences. Some recalled times when they had felt belittled or underestimated, whether due to their rank or background. In Mia's response, they saw a reflection of their struggles, the importance of standing up for oneself even when the odds seem stacked against you. Her words echoed louder than any cheer. They inspired others to reclaim their own worth. The SEAL who had mocked Mia sat silently, his confidence visibly shaken. For him, the laughter he enjoyed moments ago felt like a distant memory contrasted by the reality in which he now found himself. A reality where he was no longer the center of attention, but merely another face in the crowd witnessing a powerful transformation. As soldiers continued discussing what Mia had done, they recognized her boldness as an affirmation of resilience, not just for herself, but for all women serving in the military. It dawned on them that deep-seated biases could be challenged, chipped away by one person's bravery. There was an emerging sense of solidarity that replaced former judgments. They were beginning to see their unit as stronger together, regardless of rank or gender. Mia had transformed not only her standing among them, but also sparked a shift in attitude. She had inspired her peers to re-evaluate their perceptions and reinforced that respect is earned through courage and authenticity. In this moment of reflection, soldiers understood that together they could rise above negativity and foster an environment built on support and admiration instead of ridicule. In the moments following Mia's powerful reply, the dynamics within the mess hall shifted dramatically. Her bravery in standing up for herself resonated deeply with her fellow soldiers, igniting a newfound respect that permeated the room. No longer was she just Sergeant Mia Thompson, a woman facing doubt and ridicule. She had become a symbol of resilience and strength. As the initial shock wore off, soldiers turned their attention to one another, engaging in conversations about courage and integrity. They began to acknowledge that Mia's response had not only silenced the laughter, but had also challenged their preconceived notions of what it meant to be strong. Many felt inspired to reflect on their own actions and words, realizing how easy it was to overlook someone's hard work for a quick laugh. Even the SEAL who had mocked her found himself grappling with the consequences of his actions. The confidence he once wore like armor began to feel more like a burden as he processed Mia's retort. He sensed the shift in atmosphere. What had been a moment of bravado for him now turned into an embarrassing lesson in humility. The respect Mia garnered from her peers made it clear that such mockery would no longer be tolerated, even from those held in high regard. As soldiers approached Mia one by one, offering words of support and admiration, she felt an overwhelming sense of belonging wash over her. "You really showed him," said one soldier with a grin, while another added, "It takes guts to say something like that." Their heartfelt comments reinforced her position among them, not just as a fellow soldier, but as someone who would stand firm in her beliefs and defend herself against disrespect. This newfound respect also sparked deeper conversations about gender equality within their ranks. Soldiers who once participated in light-hearted teasing began discussing how they could uplift one another instead of tearing each other down. The idea that strength comes in many forms was echoed throughout discussions, leading them toward a path of collaboration rather than competition. Mia's courage acted as a catalyst for change within their unit. In standing up for herself, she inspired others to reconsider how they treated each other and what respect truly meant in their shared experiences. By transforming the mockery into an opportunity for growth, Mia not only earned her place among these soldiers, but also encouraged them all to rise above negativity and foster lasting camaraderie built on mutual respect and support. The events that unfolded in the mess hall were a testament to the power of words and the bravery it takes to stand up against mockery. Mia Thompson's courageous response not only silenced a room of skeptics, but transformed her from an object of ridicule into a beacon of strength and resilience. This moment served as a pivotal lesson for all those present, reminding them that one person's voice can change the atmosphere in even the most challenging environments. Mockery, often born from ignorance or insecurity, can create divides among peers, undermining morale and camaraderie. Yet Mia's example illuminated a path forward. By standing her ground, she challenged not only an individual's harsh judgment, but also sparked broader conversations about respect and equality within their ranks. It is easy to fall into the trap of laughing along with others or participating in humor at someone else's expense. However, true strength lies in understanding when to lift someone up rather than tear them down. The aftermath of Mia's powerful words reverberated through the soldiers' conversations well beyond that day. They began to show each other support and encouragement, realizing that collective growth depended on how they treated one another. With this newfound understanding, soldiers started to recognize their own biases and choose words that fostered unity rather than isolation. In a world where confidence can easily be shaken by laughter or mocking remarks, Mia stood as an embodiment of courage. Her determination reminded her peers that everyone deserves respect regardless of rank or gender. The lessons learned that day transcended the confines of the mess hall. They echoed throughout their training and interactions, solidifying a culture where mocking someone based on their rank would become unacceptable. As soldiers moved forward from this moment, they carried with them a renewed commitment to upholding dignity in all forms. They learned that standing up for oneself is not just an act of personal bravery. It fosters old friendships and creates new bonds built on trust and mutual support. Mia's story became a rallying cry, illustrating how one brave reply can change perceptions and reshape an environment for the better. In choosing to challenge mockery head-on, she created ripples of respect and empathy within her unit, qualities as vital as any skill required on the battlefield. Thus, much more than just applause filled the air. It was an acknowledgement that together they could rise above negativity and create a stronger community built on respect and understanding, enriching their shared experience as soldiers committed to lifting each other up. As the story of Sergeant Mia Thompson unfolds, it becomes clear that her experience in the mess hall goes beyond a simple moment of defiance. It serves as a powerful lesson on self-worth and resilience. In standing up for herself against mockery, Mia not only found her voice, but also inspired others to recognize their own value within a challenging environment. Her courageous reply illustrated that every individual has the capacity to challenge negativity and assert their rightful place, regardless of the doubts cast by others. The atmosphere in the hall transformed from one of ridicule to respect, showcasing how one person's words can create ripples of change and promote healing among peers. Mia's bravery encouraged her fellow soldiers to reflect on their behaviors, fostering a culture that celebrates rather than belittles. This pivotal moment highlights an essential truth. When we stand up for ourselves, we empower others to do the same. In our own lives, whether in school, at work, or in social settings, we often encounter moments when someone tries to undermine our worth. These instances can be daunting and discouraging. However, Mia's example teaches us that speaking up, whether through humor or serious dialogue, can diffuse negative situations and assert our dignity. It's crucial to remember that self-worth is not determined by others' opinions, but by our own beliefs about ourselves. Embracing who we are and recognizing our strengths can lead us to confront mockery with confidence. Everyone deserves respect and acknowledgement for their hard work and contributions, just as Mia did. The lessons learned from this story extend far beyond the walls of a mess hall. They are applicable in everyday life. We should strive to uplift each other, celebrating differences while fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and empowered. Ultimately, Mia's journey embodies resilience, the courage to rise above criticism and reaffirm one's identity amidst adversity. Her story encourages each of us to be proud of who we are and to advocate for ourselves unapologetically. In doing so, we become part of a larger movement towards kindness and mutual respect in all facets of our lives. So let this tale inspire you. Speak up when faced with mockery. Embrace your self-worth and be proud of who you are, because your voice matters more than you may realize.